Guys, welcome to It's Coding Doctor. Today we are going to build a registration form using plain HTML and CSS. Guys, we are not going to use any library. So this is going to be a complete responsive website, and I'm also going to share you the source code for it. So please watch the video till the end. And just to show you a demo, let me write something here. So as you can see, whenever the input box is it's focused, it adds some highlights to it, right? So here I can give the first name and last name. In the email section, user can provide their email, okay, test.com, mobile number, anything, and then password 123, confirm password 123. User can select their gender. So I'm going to select male, and guys, you can see these are the customized radio buttons because the default radio button does not look like this, right? So we are going to learn a lot in this video, and here you can see whenever I hover over the register, the color basically inverts. So the right now the yellow is on this side and this purple color is on the left side, but whenever I hover over it, right, they are inversing kind basically, right? So we are going to learn a lot in this video. And also, before I forgot, let me show you that this is a complete responsive website. So if I inspect it and go to the mobile, here you can select anything. Let me select iPhone 12. Okay. And now you can see for the front, user can see the three fields. And to see more, user can scroll. Okay. And the gender, previously, if I take it out, then you will see these are placed in a row, male, female, prefer not to say, but when it is in the mobile view, these will be placed in a column. Okay. So for this, we are going to use the media queries, and you can see the different colors here. It is yellow, yellowish, and here it is purple color. So for that, we have used the linear gradient. So let's without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so we are going to start with two blank files. One is the HTML file and one is the CSS file. As you can see, both are blank now. And in HTML file, of course, we are going to link the CSS one, right? So for the HTML file, let's start with the doc type. After that, we're going to write a HTML tag. And inside the HTML tag, I'm going to have a head tag and a body tag. Now inside the head tag, there will be a meta tag, then again meta tag for the viewport, and this is the link for the styles.css. Okay, now inside the body, we are going to have a div which with the class of container, which will wrap everything. After that, there will be a div for the title of the form, registration form. Then there is a div for the content. Inside that, we are going to have a form tag inside which all the form elements are inputs, are buttons, are radio buttons, everything will go inside this form element. Okay, and for now, we are keeping the action as hash. Now there is a div for the user details, and inside the user details, we are going to have different input elements for the first name, last name, email, right, password, and all that. So let's start building them. First of all, we have a span for the label first name, and right next to it, we are going to have our input for our first text box, which is for the first name. Okay, so here you can see this is a single div from here to here, which has two elements in it. One is span and one is input. So we are going to follow the same structure for rest of our input boxes. So I create the new one, input element. Inside there is a span for the last name. Similarly, there is input for the last name, which says enter your last name. Okay. Going ahead, the third input element with the label email and with the placeholder enter your email. Next one is for the mobile number with the input enter your number. Next one is for the password input, and the last one is for the confirm password. Right after entering the email, user have two options: password and confirm password. So here we are going to give input. Okay. So with that, the user details section is completed. So if I collapse it, you can see this is for the user details, and now I'm going to have the elements for the gender details. Okay. So let me reopen it. Here is the first div. This is the structure, guys. We have multiple divs. We have a single div for each input element. Okay, and inside input element, we have a span for the label and we have an input. Right. So let me open all of them so that you can see them clearly. I will just left them to so that you can get an idea of the structure. Now let's go to the gender details. Here we're going to have an input of type radio with and this ID should be unique. After that, there is a gender title and there are category div. So the first table would be gender male, and the user select selects the male, then the first radio button will be active. The next label would be female, and the third one is prefer not to say. Okay, with that we have completed our gender details as well. So here is the details, and here is the user details. Okay, guys, this is the structure of our form. And before you forget, let's add the submit button as well, right? So that when the user submit, they can see a button, a submit button. So with that, our CSS is done. Next, I'm going to open the CSS, and remember that we have already linked the styles.css here in the HTML file. Let's go to the style.css. Here, first of all, I'm going to import the Google fonts. Then for the universal selector, we're going to add some styles, box sizing, box model, and margin padding 0, and with the font family. Then to style the body, height, padding, display flex, and everything will be placed in the center. So justify center and align item center. And with the for the background, I'm using a linear gradient, which looks really cool. So you're going to see at the end of this project how it looks. And then for the container, which is here, the entire wrapper of our form, to style this, I'm going to give max width, and then some padding, background color, box shadow, and the border radius. Next, to style the form title inside the container, these are the styles. I will give the position relative. Next is the content form user details. Inside that, we will use display flex, flex wrap, and justify content space between, right? So that the things are perfectly placed and the space between them is even. Again, there is some margin as well. Next, for the input element, we are going to give margin bottom and width, and this is a Kelsey function which is used to calculate the values. Okay, so here we can dynamically calculate the values. Next, to the label, display block, and some margin at the bottom. And for the input, here are some styles. So height, width, outline, font size, padding left, transition, and border, right? Next, for the different state of the input for the focus and whether it is for this valid one, we are going to have a border color. Then for the gender details and the gender title, font size, and font weight, which is a simple style. For the category, and if you remember, the category is here, which is the actual radio buttons, right? So let's place them in a row, and for that, we'll give display flex, some margin, justify content, and width. Next, there is a form category label. Again, display flex, align items. And guys, remember, display flex is used a lot these days in any website. So you should know how this display flex, the flexbox works, right? Next, to style the dots, dots are the actual radio buttons. To style them, we are giving height, width, margin right, background, border, transition, and border radius. And then to style the, so these classes are coming from, you can see when the radio button are checked, right? This is a state actually. So category, label, class 1. Okay, so if I go inside category, and then you can see these are the classes 1, 2, and 3, right? So that means from there, and the style would be background and background color. And to select a specific radio, where the input type is radio, in the form display none, so that we can override the default styles of the radio button. And then for the button height and margin, okay. And then for the input, these are the styles which makes submit button look beautiful. Okay, so we are going to see how it looks. And if I go to this through the style, then height, border radius, width, border, letter spacing, cursor, background, transition, right? And for the background, I have used the linear gradient, which makes it really beautiful. Then for the hover state, again, we are using a linear gradient. So notice here it is 43-degree a positive angle, but here it is a negative angle. Okay, so you will see that whenever you hover over the submit button, it kinds of reverse the colors, okay, from left to right. We'll see it. Next, to make it responsive, so we are going to use media queries, and here is the max width 584 pixels, and container would be 100%, and there are some size for input element, category, and user details. And notice this one, whenever there is more data, because on the smaller devices there will be less width, right? So for that we are using overflow y, so that the content can be placed perfectly, and user will be able to scroll from top to bottom without flow while scroll. Okay, and then again there is a media query for 59 pixel max width, and we are giving flex direction column. With that, we are done with the CSS as well. Now let's see how it looks in the browser. Okay, so here is our website, and as you can see, this looks really beautiful. We have a registration form title, first name, last name, email, mobile number, password, confirm password, and then gender. Okay, and there is this submit button for the registering, and even I can feel it. So let me write something. Guys, remember there is lots of improvement which you can do to this form, because as of now we have not added any kind of validation to it. So user can write anything. So even if I write password 123 and confirm password 234, since they do not match, but there is no validation error. So this is a scope for the improvement, because we have not used JavaScript. So if we had used JavaScript, then we could have built some validation here, right? So that will be the next part maybe. And here I'll select the gender, and whenever I click register, this entire form will be empty, and you will see some changes in the URL as well. So let me register it. You have liked this video and you have learned something new from this. If so, please like, share, and comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.